Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to another explainer video. Today, we're going to be doing a bit differently. I won't be going over a ship, but I'll be going over some strategies and basic mechanics that should help you whilst playing the game. So, without further ado, I think it's best to just hop into it. The first mechanic is overview camera. The mechanics will get harder and harder as the video progresses, just so you guys know. Um, Overview camera, I'm pretty sure everyone knows what it is and what button to press to get it. Overview camera is an amazing tool. Whenever you aim guns, overview camera actually keeps your guns aimed at that same location, so you can actually see that when I'm on overview camera to look for shells on the horizon, my reticle is still aimed at the uh, place in the ship that I was shooting at. So every time I shoot at the Schlieffen now and I press overview camera, my reticle will be aimed at the Schlieffen again. I would be actually able to spam the entire time with this overview camera. Now I do, since this Schlieffen is making steering adjustment, want to continue to adjust my aim, and that is why I'm letting go of overview camera. Here you can see that I do actually have overview camera pinned down there, just because I was able to hit shots without needing to take it off. Now, angling is another basic mechanic that I think everyone already knows or has heard of before. Here in this situation, you can see I'm facing Atlantico and Michelangelo. Atlantico can actually overmatch Michelangelo, so I'm going to have to angle uh, against it so that he doesn't overmatch me. So what does this mean? It means that I'm going to put my ship in a way on an angle so that this Atlantico has to shoot at the main armor belt here, and that way he can't pen me, and he has to shoot the thickest part of the armor. Now we move on to kiting. This is when the mechanics slash strategies will start to get a bit more difficult. Kiting is one of it's basically angling, but then reverse, going away from someone. Now I'm in one of the ships that is able to kite the best, Petro, to hopefully show off this mechanic the best. Now, what is kiting? Now, this is when you're going away from the enemy um, in order to try and conserve your HP or stay alive or whatever. Whenever you're going away from an enemy, it's harder for the enemy to hit you, and even harder for an enemy to try and hit specific parts of the ship. Now, Petro has an exposed bow. You can see there, Bismarck was just able to hit it, and a small exposed stern section. But its main armor belt is really strong, so I angle out to make sure that it's easier for me to catch Bismarck shells and Montpellier's shells on the place where I have armor, or even better, to dodge them in general. Because there are some ships, like St. Louis, for example, that are amazing kiters because they're able to dodge shells instead of take them. Now, Petro doesn't need to dodge, it gets the armor, so I can then angle out in a kiting formation, head away from the enemy whilst they try to push me, and then let them shoot at my thickest part, and then watch their shells ricochet while I pen. Now, there are some ships like Petro that excel at kiting, and that's because of certain things. Now, Petro is the one of the best kiting ships because it has amazing rear firing angles, because it has good armor, because it has 360-degree turns. But kiting is a mechanic that you can do in any type of ship and in any ship really. It's the best way to stay alive. Um, as whenever you're low, basically, and you still need to do damage, or you still need to shoot. Kiting is a way to stay alive by just being harder to hit for the enemy. So this is a mechanic that I expect everyone to either know or learn if you want to be a Legends player, because it is going to be so crucial for staying alive in those hard-fought moments. And of course, you're going to take damage while kiting still. That is just a fact of life. Like here, fire damage. Um, but that way you're not taking lots of damage. This way you're staying alive a lot longer. This mechanic is for DDs only. This is the U-turn, and this is the best way for DDs to keep their HP in the beginning of a match. Now, when you start on the match as a DD, you want to get the cap, you want to spot, but sometimes there's just a DD that's either better at you at holding cap, so there's like a radar cruiser. Now, in this instance, I'm here in Katsones, and you can see the LTR version of Katsones Gdansk is here in this game, and thus I need to try and stay alive because I'm not winning that gunfight. And so I'm going to U-turn. So that means just before I reach the cap, like you just saw, I'm going to turn around and then as first go into the cap, and then right on the edge of said cap, I will come to a full halt to wait and see if I can get the cap or if it's contested, like it is here. Um, and so whenever then the enemy then spots me, raiders me, it is much easier for me to go around, not go around, sorry, get back, get out of the raider range or spotting range, and that way I can stay alive instead of having to make the U-turn when I get spotted and then taking a huge chunk of damage and then being not very useful for the team for the rest of the game. There are two types of island positioning. We will start with the one you see on your screen now, type 1. This is where you find a very big island, like the one I have here to my left. This way, only people in front of me or to my right can shoot me. This way, I'd have to not worry about a whole flank shooting me because, well, there's an island there to position. This position is extremely powerful because, well, you're literally controlling who can shoot at you and who can't, whilst the enemy then can't really dictate anymore what your movement is, because usually you want to drive people out in the open, but if you're already here locked with an island, it's pretty hard to dislodge you. So it's a pretty safe position. Like the only way to get a ship out of one of these positions is like rushing it in a DD. But usually um, that's not happening, so it's a pretty safe bet to stay alive. Now, um, the way this type of positioning, this type of island positioning, usually plan out. You don't have this happen per chance. You usually think, okay, I can see this big island here. I can see that enemies are going to go to this flank. There's a cap here. This will be a good place to hunker down and start shooting. Now, this island positioning is even better because I'm in a crossfire. Not I'm in a crossfire, so I'm shooting at crossfires. So you can see my team over at A um, are shooting at the enemy, of course. But so am I. But we're shooting from different directions, so they either have to be broadside to them or be broadside to me. Now you saw that harbor and chose to be broadside to me. Now he gets slapped, whilst this monarch decides to be broadside to my team. Now, of course, people can still shoot you, as you just saw. Repub slapped me for quite a bit, but Repub can death strike me, not from this angle. And this is only superficial damage, so I can heal it back. And you can also see you can still go forward and backwards, meaning you can still dodge some awfully placed shots. Now, someone actually knows how to take a shot properly, then they'll be able to hit you quite easily, and yeah, you're gonna have to take it into account. But this way, you'll stay alive a lot longer, while still being next to a cap or shooting towards a cap or creating crossfires to help team. So this is another way, just like kiting, to stay alive while still being very useful to the team. Even more useful, in fact, than kiting with this type 1 island positioning. Type 2 island positioning is where you really sit behind the island itself and farm from, I wouldn't really say long range, although it is here, but from the safety behind this island. Now, I would never plan this. This is just something, this is a position that you're gonna have to find yourself in accidentally, right? I wasn't planning to sit behind this island, but then I found, hey, this island actually protects me from being spotted, so I might as well take use of it. I already went through all my heals this game, so I need to now decide to, okay, it's time to hunker down, just farm, because if I go out in the open again, I will get slapped. So you can then go behind an island and start farming. Now, if you're still full HP, you still have your heals, then I wouldn't suggest to do this, especially in the late game, because probably your teammates that are low that have been tanking need some reprieve from tanking, and thus it's time to not sit behind an island. I also would never do this in the like a plan. Like there's only a very few cruises where I would say you can get away with this in the beginning of the game, like Atlanta. You know those spammy cruisers that have amazing shell arcs for sitting behind islands and that can't tank because they don't have armor, because they don't have uh, heals. So this type 2 island camping is great for late game for accidental moments, but I would never intentionally decide to make a plan. Okay, I'm gonna sit behind this island. I'm gonna farm down these cruisers here. Curveballing is probably one of the hardest things to do in this game, and right here you can see it. It's where enemy is pushing you while you're behind an island, and uh, you aren't spotted, but they are. Now you do need someone spotting for you, which I didn't have here, so that's why I popped my radar to do this. Now what happens is while they're advancing, you're shooting in front of them, meaning that you actually have a direct line of sight to where their ship is going to be. But because you're heading backwards, they don't have a direct line of sight of where you're going to be. So this has to be on a um, pushing ship. Now, I will say there are moments where you can curveball on an island while you are pushing and they're reversing or pushing around the side of the island. I should probably say better instead of reversing. But these moments are few and far between, and they only last a couple salvos. So it's really most of the time an enemy that's pushing you, and then you backing up on an island, and then you shooting at the place where they're going to be, whilst they're not able to shoot at the place you are going to be. This is a great way to hold corners, hold angles, and stay alive for the moments when, well, if I were to rush this, Indianapolis and Iowa, I would have died ages ago. So instead, I decided to go curveballing around this island. This way, I'm still able to shoot at the enemy, whilst they aren't able to shoot at me. Now, here at the end, they will be able to shoot at me. I wasn't able to back up anymore to get angles, and he was the last man alive, so then it makes only sense.